In the money pit area, brothers Rick and Marty Lagina are about to get their first opportunity of the year to personally inspect the ongoing renovations being made to a mid-18th century structure known as the garden shaft. This critical excavation site has become a focal point in their search for Oak Island's long-lost treasure. Before they descend into the shaft, one of the contractors addresses them. "Before we get dressed, I just want to show you something. When you go down there, you'll have a better idea of what we're dealing with." He points to a diagram and continues, "Towards the bottom of the shaft, this is set 16, this is where we're seeing the infiltration of water. This is the bad area, where all the water is seeping in. You'll see it firsthand when we get down there." Rick, looking concerned, responds, "That is very puzzling." The contractor nods. "It is. It's just this area, though. You'll see as you go down. But don't worry, it's not undermining the shaft, right, Roger?" Roger, one of the lead engineers, shakes his head. "No, but that's why we need to contain it or stop it before it becomes a bigger problem." "All right," Marty says, gearing up. "Let's get dressed and check it out. We'll get a better understanding once we're in there." As they put on their protective gear, the gravity of the situation sets in. As we all know, Rick remarks, for over 200 years, water has always been the problem. And now, we're encountering it ourselves. We need to figure out how to shut it down or at least diminish it. The bottom of the garden shaft could hold the key to solving Oak Island's mystery. If they can't deal with the water issue, it could jeopardize their excavation efforts. "I feel like a ghostbuster," Marty jokes as they prepare to descend. Since returning to Oak Island 3 weeks ago, representatives from Dumas Contracting Limited have successfully extended the refurbished 82-foot deep shaft down to 87 feet. Their ultimate goal is to reach nearly 100 feet, where they hope to breach a mysterious 7-foot-high tunnel discovered during their strategic core drilling operation. This ancient tunnel, which has been carbon dated to as early as the 17th century, runs east to west toward a location known as the Baby Blob, an area where high concentrations of gold, silver, and other metals have been detected in groundwater between 80 and 120 feet deep. If the team can access this tunnel, they might finally uncover evidence of treasure that has eluded searchers for centuries. "All right, here we go," Rick says as they step onto the lift. "Let's go, guys." As they descend into the shaft, the team members are careful to observe and assess the structural integrity of the excavation. The water issue must be dealt with immediately to prevent further complications. "This is set 60, Roger explains, pointing. "Starting from here, this is where the water infiltration begins. It comes in along the side. So what's the plan today?" Marty asks. Roger responds, "We're going to go one set above this and punch 9 holes into the area. Then, we'll inject urethane into those holes, which should seal off the water flow." The team plans to use fast-setting urethane, a specialized expanding compound, to grout the cracks and block the water intrusion. The urethane will be sprayed under high pressure, allowing it to expand and seal off the unwanted water flow. "You see those 2x6s?" Roger asks, pointing to wooden reinforcements. "See the crack? That's where we'll apply the specialized compound. Think of it as an expanding foam in layman's terms. As it expands, it will completely seal off the intrusion of water." As they reach the bottom, Marty steps out. "Okay, I've landed," he says. "Roger, I have lots of questions," Rick interjects. "Where are we compared to where we were last year? Are we below that depth now?" Roger confirms, "Yes. We were 4 to 5 feet higher last year. Right now, we're at 87 feet from the top, so we've gone down about 4 feet further." Rick peers down. "How much further down is it to the tunnel?" "It's not very far," Roger replies, opening a small hatch. "Here, this will give you a better idea." The team stares in amazement. "We're looking at dirt that nobody else has ever seen ever," Roger states. Rick nods. "I'll say this, Roger, you're very close to that tunnel. It's just a few feet below here." "Yeah," Roger agrees. "It's pretty cool." "Oh yeah," Marty adds. "We're talking about a tunnel that we didn't even know existed, one that's not described in any historical narrative. We have to get down there." That's exactly what I'm hoping for, Roger replies. Once we start probe drilling, we'll begin punching through and see what we find. Aside from finding artifacts or gold and silver, Rick says, the most important thing about this shaft is that it will allow us to use a horizontal drill. That's going to be key. Depending on what the team finds once they reach the suspected tunnel below, Dumas will also be able to use a probe drilling device to search for valuables up to 40 feet in every direction. If they uncover any significant clues but find that the existing tunnel is inaccessible, Dumas will have the ability to construct a new tunnel to reach the discovery. The team knows they are closer than ever to solving the Oak Island mystery. Later that morning, as Dumas Contracting Limited continues their work on the garden shaft, the team remains focused on their excavation efforts. Hey Terry, hey Em, thanks for coming out, a crew member greets geologist Terry Matheson and archaeologist Moya McDonald as they arrive on site. The team is currently drilling borehole KL 14.5, which extends 138 feet deep, nearly 60 feet southwest of their original drill points. This borehole is strategically positioned to penetrate the center of a mysterious underground cavern known as Aladdin's Cave, which lies nearly 150 feet beneath the surface. This is a very interesting area to all of us, Terry remarks as he studies the drill site. Just then, project manager Scott Barlow joins the group. Hey Scott, guys, how you doing? Terry greets him. Moya adds, so, we're going to put the inspection camera down into KL 14.5. I think we're all hoping to see some evidence that men actually excavated this cave. As the team lowers the camera, they closely watch the live feed. What did we hit here? Someone asks. Terry examines the readings. Basically, we have 10 feet of open space, that's what I'm understanding. That's big, Scott responds, eyes widening. That's bigger than anything we've seen before. We've never seen anything like this. Paul, the camera operator, readies the equipment. Let's get it into the hole and see what we can see. Okay, please, Terry agrees. Paul carefully positions the camera. Alright, so line it up at the top, going into the cavity right now. The Anton Spectrum 20 high-definition camera the team is using is specifically designed to function in low-light conditions. Not only does it provide clear underwater visuals, but it can also pan and tilt, offering a 360-degree view of its surroundings. There's the water, someone points out as the camera footage reveals the submerged chamber. Okay, we're at 142 feet, right at the top of the casing, Paul announces. We should be inside the cave now. On the screen, they notice silt moving past the lens, stirred by an unseen current within the cavern. Paul, take it down incrementally, Terry instructs. Suddenly, something appears on the feed. There it is, right there, Paul exclaims. Oh my God, look at that. The camera reveals an object with a distinct square shape. It appears to be a square-headed bolt, which could be a man-made artifact. This is exactly what we're looking for in Aladdin's cave, Terry says excitedly. We need evidence that human beings were inside this cavern at some point in history. Scott examines the footage closely. I guess it's possible, but I wouldn't call it definitive just yet. Moya nods. We need a miniature version of Gary Drayton down there with a metal detector to confirm what we're seeing. Lower it further, Paul, Terry suggests. I don't think that was the bottom, I think we might be looking at a sidewall instead. As Paul adjusts the camera, he explains, I'm just trying to get any kind of indication of where we are. If there's something man-made down here, it could be a significant clue to what this island is trying to tell us. Meanwhile, the camera reveals a strange movement in the water. There seems to be some kind of current pulling sediment across the lens, Scott observes. You see that shadow? Paul asks. It looks like something is shifting through the mist. Okay, now we're really seeing something, Terry says, watching intently. Paul continues to rotate the camera, trying to get a clearer view. There's definitely a current down there. It looks wide open, but we can't see through the silt to the walls. Scott takes a deep breath. Well, if anything, we've just proven that this is a wide open cavity. Terry agrees. This is a great opportunity for us to really map this area using sonar. I agree, Scott says. We're inside the cave, and what we're seeing is very interesting. It could be man-made. And if today's investigation proves anything, it's that this area is worth further exploration. Moya chimes in, so we're going to bring in sonar equipment in a few days. That will allow us to map the dimensions, figure out where the cave is leading, and identify potential openings. Scott nods. And if we get a detailed map, we might be able to pinpoint access points and determine whether this is truly a treasure location. Terry smiles. That's why I'm really excited about this. This could be one of the most important discoveries yet. Scott looks around at the team. Okay, I think we're done for today. Let's reconfigure and plan the next steps. Good job, guys, Terry says as they wrap up their investigation.